you're gonna have for your game in half. Honestly, it's way
Bro, this
larger
nigga's
than
too
half.
powerful, bro.
It's probably about anywhere between 50 to 70%. I don't want to be extreme and say 80, but it's a possibility because majority of Roblox players are not 18. They're not. There are a few, but majority of them are not 18, right? So you're losing 50 to 70% of your concurrent players because of this nonsense, and it just cuts your revenue in half. Like it ends. It's like, is there even a point in working on this game? And the developers that know they're not of age, they're just gonna be like, "Yo, what this? What is going on?" So it's actually going to be hard. It's going to be super hard for developers. This is, again, it's not going to affect a lot of the developers that are already established on the platform because they've been here for a while. They're over the age threshold. They already have successful games on the platform. So it doesn't affect them. But it does affect the up and comings. It does affect the developers that have been working on games behind the scene. It affects the smaller developers. And again, this is bad for business for Roblox because you
Bro, he's too
need those
powerful,
youth
bro.
developers. You need the developers that are aspiring to
Oh
become
my
bigger
gosh,
on
he's
your
too
platform.
powerful.
Imagine if they had something like this off rip. Majority of the developers that are
Can't do
established
anything.
now wouldn't exist because they
Bro,
wouldn't meet the requirement. Like it's literally
nah,
hindering the
game, you're
future
violent.
of the Roblox
I
platform.
can't
And
beat the
again,
mission.
Roblox anime is already super niche. Super niche, and it's already going to be hard for them to get verified because not verified, but for them to meet all the requirements and checks because again, a lot of the games are a bit violent, a lot of the games are a bit gory, they have blood, whatever. A lot of games allow you to turn off things like blood particles and stuff like that, but a lot of these games are violent. So even then, a lot of them are going to have that maturity rating that's M for mature. They're not going to be mild. So again, it still might meet that restriction. Like it's literally we're getting hit from all corners, right? We're getting hit from all corners, bro. And I mean, for crying out loud, there's already developers that are affected or going to be affected by this information, by this news. I mean, look at what has been posted recently. Hi everyone, AB. I'm not too sure what game AB is, but AB will be cancelled if Roblox goes through with requiring Roblox Plus subscription to publish games to all ages. This platform, it's not funny, but he said Antichrist. This platform is the Antichrist. I'm tired of it. Thank you so much to every single one of you who played AB, your support. And then for context, so we worked on this game for 2 years. Damn. This to see it all fall like this just fucking sucks, especially with it being a collab with two other games I work on. And then he posted this as well. There's a little update. I feel as though I should clarify the current situation. I think some people think I'm still quitting. I'll say that I reacted initially quite extremely. I probably won't quit entirely over this publishing change. It's really annoying how Roblox continues to hinder its own developers time and time again. It's really disheartening and demotivating to watch a platform I've been with for over 60% of my life fall apart like this. It really makes me not want to keep developing, but developing means a lot to me. And apparently, AB, is this Anime Ball? Anime Blade? I don't know what game AB is. Means a
No
lot to
way,
some of
he's not
you.
in combat
I
anymore. You're
won't quit.
joking.
Things are just rough. I want people to understand that quitting may eventually be the only option if Roblox continues down this path. I don't know for sure how much more of this I can reasonably take. Yeah, and for some reason, Roblox just keeps adding updates that not only hinder the players, but hinder the developers as well. And it just doesn't make sense. You can argue that they're doing this for their shareholders, but I don't think I don't think Roblox's share price is gonna raise. It's gonna go any higher. Roblox's stock is not gonna raise if they lose creators and if they lose players. So continuously making bad decisions just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It legitimately doesn't. I don't see where the mindset's coming from. I don't see why. I don't see it. I want to know who's on the board for this game or for this platform. Multi-billion-dollar corporation, just breeding out, completely breeding out. And finally, like the reason why all of this is even happening in the first place. Now, this honestly goes all the way back to Ruben Sim and the original banning or getting Predators banned on Roblox. It all stems from there. And don't get it twisted, it's not Ruben Sim's fault. If anything, he was doing God's work, getting Predators off the platform, and not troll Predators, not people laughing on Discord, no, legitimate people preying on underage children. Like, it was disgusting. Getting the police involved, getting them arrested, it was a good job. He was legitimately doing God's work. Now, where it got out of hand is where Roblox employees and friends of people who were Roblox employees started to get affected by the vigilante work of Ruben. And Roblox steps in and tries to do damage control. And all of this stuff getting out was getting Roblox banned in different countries, was getting parliaments and governments involved, and states looking to ban or sue Roblox, and that whole thing became controversial. It blew up. It literally blew up. And all of this, current day, what's going on right now, is Roblox still trying to do damage control for the things that transpired with the whole Ruben Sim stuff, with the whole Roblox developers, management, staff, and even if they're not related to Roblox stuff, just the whole catching predators, catching people doing things they shouldn't be doing on the Roblox platform. Instead of Roblox to honestly be grateful that there is a content creator going out of his way to make Roblox a safer place, they not only attacked him, but for some reason end up doubling down on decisions that end up affecting the whole platform negatively. And the damage control to all of this isn't actually helping the platform. It's not helping the platform in any way, shape, or form. It's like dying on a hill. It's like not wanting to admit you're wrong and just dying on the hill of thinking you're doing good work. It's so stupid. Like, and I'm very sure there are better ways to implementing, I don't know, age restrictions or just making Roblox safer in general. I don't think making Roblox a trash place is gonna moderate or help in terms of catching predators or making Roblox safe. I just don't see how making games that were once enjoyable not enjoyable helps get rid of predators. Again, this is all damage control. Everything that's happened, the chat restriction, age restrictions, the stupid premium change, all of this is damage control because of the catching predators and Roblox gaining bad traction from the whole predator, Roblox not being a safe place. It's all one big reaction of an action. Instead of Roblox to tackle the problem, which is actually the predators, locating, getting rid of the predators, they are making Roblox a horrendous place for the innocent people who just want to play and create games. It doesn't even make sense. Like, who's on the board? Who's coming
You're
up with
fucking.
these decisions? Are there anyone countering these
50
decisions?
seconds,
Or is
bro.
everyone
Come
just yes men
on.
on the Roblox team? Like, it's just things like this where it's like, I'm pretty sure you could hire me and I'll be able to make better solutions for the future of Roblox than these guys are doing. So yeah, what's Roblox gonna look like a couple of years from now with all of these things happening? Only time will tell. And Roblox isn't gonna revert these decisions unless that share price goes down, unless those
Yeah,
stock
who knows,
prices go
man?
down, unless
Roblox might be cooked
once
for real.
those shareholders aren't getting the dividends they want, then they're not gonna see changes. So maybe we do have to boycott.
They don't
I
get
don't
in
want to
returns.
boycott
They
Roblox. I want to play Rail Shoes. But there needs to be something done, and the only way to get Roblox to see that they're making bad choices is for the player base and the developers to rebel. Well, if the player base and the developers rebel, we don't get the games we've been waiting 4 or 5 years for. You know what I mean? It's just, it feels like we're kind of stuck. And it feels like what Roblox is doing is making it so that the developers that are already on the platform are kind of stuck too. Feels like they're trying to trap people, not really giving people much of a choice but to adhere to their rules. It's bad. It's very bad. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's quite unfortunate, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully this doesn't affect any of the games that are meant to come out soon. It shouldn't. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see.
if there's one thing I used to be good at, it was wasting my bread. From not knowing how to invest properly to substance dependencies to some diabolical bar tabs every weekend, I used to make some heinous money moves that had I
Dog.
not learned from, I'd be in a bad place right now. And look, I'm no Elon Musk, but I've been able to cut out a lot of stupid spending behaviors as I've gotten older, and it's provided me with a certain level of freedom that, I'm extremely grateful to have. So today, let's talk about how you can waste all your money. So first I want to talk about investing like a moron, right? Because they don't teach us in school how to invest, which is convenient, right? But we do know it can really help your financial situation, and it's a beautiful thing. But you can get burnt just as easily. And there's a misconception that just because you're setting money aside somewhere and buying stocks,
I
you're being
really hope
smart
he's
with
getting
your money.
damaged by this.
Like regardless of what you're buying. And this is,
Man.
a dangerous misconception, especially for a younger, idiotic version of myself, right? So it's important not to overextend yourself while investing, especially if you don't have liquidity. I mean, if you look at the market right now, some people are viewing this as the end of the world, right? Because they're down so much money, maybe they were in for a short term and they're like, holy shit, I just lost this amount of money. Others are viewing this as a discount sent from God himself, right? So you should always have liquidity. It's important. And I think as a young dude, the worst mistake that you can make is thinking that you're smarter than these massive institutions with billions of dollars behind them. Like I used to just buy shit because I thought, this was a good company. No research, no logic, just a fry boy with some money to spend, right? And I used to think I was investing, but now I know, looking back, what I really was doing was just giving away my money to somebody who already has way more of it than I do, right? So what I learned is that investing isn't about, throwing money at a company just because the stock price is cheap and you think it should go up, right? And I'm not a financial advisor, obviously, but after getting burnt over and over when I was younger, I now look at stocks in a certain lens, right? And it's like I look at anything else. The more valuable something is, the more it's going to cost. And this same logic translates to companies and their stock prices, right? So me buying a cannabis company because it was only $2 a share is fucking stupid, right? And I've learned through experiencing just failure over and over that 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be the guy who finds this penny stock that goes massive, right? And you can really, there's just nothing worse than putting hard-earned money aside with the goal of growing it and just losing it, because it's like, damn, I should have just spent that shit. Like that would have been more fun to spend or go travel somewhere, right?
Fuck.
So you need to diversify so that when the stock market as a whole goes up, so is your portfolio. And this may sound super basic, I get it, but when I first started investing and knew nothing about the market, I'd be like, why is the market outperforming my portfolio? Which is like, I mean, I was an idiot, right? But that should never be the case. And it was because I was holding a lot of these dumb-ass companies, and I was too invested in certain industries and not in others. Index funds are the way to go. Take a little piece of the top companies, that's where, so when the market goes up, your portfolio goes up, and you never really have to worry.
No.
Zoom out of that.
He's actually low.
It always goes up.
Oh my god.
If you're gonna invest in single companies, like, you need to be 100% positive that it's a strong company that will consistently be turning a profit in the future. Like, I made this mistake so
He's
many
actually.
times.
Oh my god. He's actually
I was
gonna die.
about
No
this
way.
company. Like, I use this product, or I do this, and it's like, there's so much going on behind the scenes that you don't know as an investor. You just really need to trust a single company if you're going to invest in it, right? Or else you're going to get burnt, I think, probably 90% of the time. You want to use investing to build, right? It's not going to make you rich overnight, and I think there's that conception. I don't know where that came from, but I definitely believed in it. But you're just going to end up losing money and giving it to other people, which is like crazy, right? And I want to make actually a bunch of videos about investing, just because there's so much to talk about here. But if there's one thing I want to highlight in this video in terms of
You're fucking joking.
wasting money and not wasting money, it's to follow where the big money goes. Right? So that's all I'll say for now. But next, and this one really did me dirty, was addictions. In terms of wasting money, like I was 15 when I first got addicted to nicotine. I used to play baseball a lot, so my first introduction was with chewing tobacco, and then, you know, all of a sudden by 16, you couldn't catch me without a jewel in my hand. Like I would literally fall asleep with that shit in my hand, wake up, rip it first thing in the morning. It's disgusting. You know, a pack of jewel pods was give or take $20, and I was going through 2 of these a week. And, you know, at the time, and in the mindset of an addict, it didn't feel like a lot of money because, you know, this was a need at the time. So I was going to make it happen regardless. But, man, like to this day, I cringe when I think about, you know, how much this actually cost me. Because we're talking $40 a week, sometimes more, for 8 years. And for what? Like, literally nothing. A lot of my friends were actually able to get a big bag back from Juul as part of this class action lawsuit, which is, you know, I'm happy for them, but my dumb ass didn't sign up because this was way back in 2019. But that makes me happy, at least, because it's like, shit, we were kids, man. We were not supposed to get addicted. You know, we were the generation that was off the cigarettes. You know, I was at first. And then all of a sudden, you know, I have this crippling, you know, addiction. And, I mean, now I know better than anyone how hard it is to stop a nicotine addiction. But
no, he's not.
I think just starting with acknowledging how much you're paying for nothing in return is a good place to start, and just take it from there, you know?
Bro,
and I also
guys don't get it, bro. This guy is so powerful.
You don't realize until you stop, it's not a cheap habit to maintain. You know, it might not be as physically addicting as nicotine, but it was something that I felt like I needed.
I can't eat serum methotrexate. It's gonna be too powerful. Right? It's gonna.
So now I'm grateful to be off both. You know, my bank account and my mental state are thankful for this, but you know, this one never sat right with me, and even when I was addicted, because this is money that you're giving away for nothing in return. If anything, it's pain in return, right? And it could be invested.
Oh my gosh, she's finally dead.
Travel,
no fucking way. No fucking way.
For the people that you love, it's just.
Oh my god!
Really
all of that for a fucking godly perks to him. And now I'm fighting the Kampachi. Holy shit!
It goes up. It could be a lot worse than nicotine and weed. And you know, I have friends who are addicted to a lot harder drugs, right? And it's sad.
Fuck the Kampachi.
And it's not easy to stop, but I think, you know, just looking back how much money I spent on this, it really sticks out and bothers me. So if you can avoid that, you know, or just at least become aware of it, that's a good place to start, right? Next, I want to talk about, and this one pisses me off, I'm not gonna lie, gambling, right? This is getting ridiculous now. Like, the amount of advertising these sports gambling companies are doing is insane. I can't even watch sports without seeing, you know, FanDuel and DraftKings plastered all over the screen. You got Kevin Hart telling kids to download FanDuel on every other commercial. It's all over the fucking court. Like, it's just everywhere. It's gross, in my opinion. And I think there needs to be some legislation there or something, because it's just, you know, it's dangerous. And you know, thankfully I never really got lost with gambling. I've definitely wasted some hard-earned money here, and it's easy, man. It's fun, right? And don't think for a second that this is anything that can help you make money, even if it feels that way. Especially if you're someone like me who already struggles with impulse control, right? So just like stay away, or if you're gonna partake, like at least view it for what it is, which is a vice that costs money in exchange for a chemical reaction. Just like, you know, drinking, smoking. That's the way to view it, because that's really what it is. And the thing is, like, we grew up with this shit. It's not like we were protected at all. I remember I was like 14, ripping roulette, blackjack, using CSGO skins, and having no idea of the implications, right? And then, you know, even in college, like, me and my roommates lost a fuck ton of crypto on this game called Crash. This website is called VBet or something.
You're dead.
And, you know, but that's more.
Acknowledge you're joking.
Now with sports, it's way too
the Kampachi, where you at, gang?
And usually, luckily, I stay far away from it. I think part of that's just because of, I think the
there you
whole
are, buddy.
advertising thing, someone who's in digital marketing is just disgusting to me.
There you are,
But,
buddy.
last year, the Knicks went on a playoff run, and I'm a huge Knicks fan. I was throwing a lot of money on each game and making a lot of money.
Oh, he has an egg on him.
Like,
Why?
All of a sudden, I had this massive balance. Lost it all in one
he's
game,
gonna be
and
so
that was that.
powerful.
Like, what a shit feeling, right? And the danger isn't in the losses; it's more in the big wins, because you end up chasing that dragon for years. I think there's nothing worse than, especially if you're just getting into gambling,
No!
you get a big win, like
I
that
gotta
can
go. I
really
gotta
change
go.
someone's life, which is just, in my opinion, like fucked up, right? I have friends who are straight addicts, and like I get the appeal, man, especially because I love sports. So the idea of watching sports and making money at the same time, it's like too much for the male brain to comprehend, and I think that's why people get carried away. And I always get pics of crazy parlay tickets and the wins, but that shit is just always going to be a dead end, bro. Like, thinking about the billions of dollars that these companies are spending every quarter just to get you on the app, the free money promotions, it's so transparent, because in the end they're going to take your money away from you, no matter how much of a winner they make you feel like. So yeah, anytime someone tries to like flex me their parlay or their big money line bet, whatever, which I think we need to collectively stop doing, because I promise you, whoever you're showing that to doesn't care. But I asked them to show me like their career winnings on like their profile tab, and to this day I've never seen someone who actually made money, or maybe they're up like $2, even though they're so emotionally invested and it takes up so much of their mental time and energy, right? Plus, like, it takes away the real fun of the game, man. Like, I love sports. I love watching the Yankees because I love the Yankees, not because I want them to score a certain amount of runs or under a certain amount of runs. You know what I mean? So avoid gambling just in general. I think it's just it's really one of those traps that they want us to fall into. Next is going out every weekend. So I think when you're younger and in high school and college, there's this pressure to go out every weekend, and
hell nah.
And social media makes it seem like everyone's having the time of their life every time they go out, right? So you watch that and you're like, damn, I should be out there. And I didn't think that when I got older I would still feel this pressure, but I did. I kept going out every weekend to some bar just because, I didn't want to miss anything almost, right? And I quickly learned, like, holy shit, these bar tabs, club, whatever, really start to add up, and I can't keep doing this every weekend. And maybe my view on this is skewed a little bit because everything's so expensive over here, but like, dude, a vodka soda in New York is like $20. A beer is like $15.
You're joking.
It wasn't until I got comfortable with just chilling at the crib some weekends, not going out or doing something that doesn't require me to
I need more.
spend money
I need more.
do a lot of drinking. That's
yes,
when I realized
come here.
how much money I was wasting, right? And I also realized it's just better for my health to get some rest on the weekend. Like, that's really what they were meant for, right? Like, there's nothing worse than waking up after a night out and feeling like shit.
I should have farmed him.
To check your balance because you spent a ton of money. And I've been there. Even worse,
body's healing. This is terrible.
And you feel more tired than you were on Friday, and you just have to grind through the week just to do it again. And I swear this accelerates aging. It just like eats away at you. And look, I'm no saint in this regard. Like, to this day, I go out and maybe spend too much money every once in a while, but the amount of weekends where I didn't get any rest and just drank, spent a ton of money has definitely decreased, and I can say I'm better off for it, and that's not just financially. And you might say, like, okay, why don't you just go out and not spend money on drinks, or just drink water? And I wish I could move like that. I really do. I am jealous to those who can, but for me it's like I'm either in or out, and that's with a lot of things that I do in life. It's harder for me to get that in between, so plus, like, now when I do go out for a special occasion, a birthday or something, it's more fun. Gone are the days where I'm going out just for the sake of going out. My wallet, my liver are thankful, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying isolate yourself at home every weekend and never go out and be social, because that leads to a lonely, depressing existence. What I'm saying is, don't feel pressure from others to go out just to go out. Like, it's okay to say no sometimes.
Not for
just
real.
Make sure to spend that time wisely. Not just rotting away in isolation. So I wanted to spend more time on the things that I think a lot
What?
of us
Why is he going crazy?
But I do have some honorable mentions as well. The first being dating above your means, like pretending like you're some baller.
Why is he going crazy?
Like, don't take me to a restaurant.
Give me out of here,
What if
please.
she sucks, right? I've been there. I've wasted money on dates with, a girl that I just didn't even like. And, let's say you do like her, you're setting her expectations, you're pretending to be someone you're not, maybe taking her somewhere.
These ass ranks.
It's like, are you going to keep up that persona?
That grueling.
Over this? Or, the truth is going to have to come out eventually, right? And I feel like cheaper dates are usually more fun anyway and less pressure. The next is buying things that you could just make at home. So for me, it was coffee, right? I used to buy a coffee every single morning at this deli. And, I still do sometimes, but I realized, like, shit, this is costing me $4 every day. It's a black coffee, right? So just make that shit at home. Because $4 times 365, it adds up quick, right?
Very quick.
And the next is, like, if you're lucky enough to live at home in your early 20s, which, I understand, like, everyone is
basic egg, common egg,
privilege, but
on bro's head, and he was going crazy.
Save that money. That rent money is literally being burnt, especially because, chances are you're living in some shithole with your friends instead of at home because you want to be, independent or whatever. And I get it. I totally understand it, but that adds up so quickly. So if you can, I'd say definitely live at home. It might feel like you're moving backwards, especially if, you were just at college. But financially, it's a really smart decision. So, look, everyone's situation is going to be different, right? And I know a lot of this is circumstantial. Like I said, I tried to focus on the things that I think a lot of people deal with. I'm extremely grateful of my situation and the lessons that I've learned growing up. And I think just in general, like, don't take anything for granted. No matter how shitty your situation feels, just remembering, like, there's someone that has it 10 times worse.
For real.
It's really important. But that's it for me, guys. I will talk to you later. Peace. Alright, before everyone starts bugging out, let me just say this. I'm proud to be an American. I always have been. To the point where I get a little choked up when they do those flybys over the arenas, right? I thank God every day that I was born here and not like Pyongyang or some shit, right? But that being said, up until about a year ago, I had never actually left the country. So my conditioning had told me that, America was the best at everything, the most efficient, the safest, the smartest country. But it wasn't until the past couple of years that I realized, life is short and I gotta start unlocking some new maps here because, if I die tomorrow, I'd be tight because I pretty much only got to see, New York and fucking Florida my whole life, right? So I started traveling. First I went to Europe and then I went to Asia. I just got back from Japan. Traveling has been a sick experience. I'm beyond grateful for it, but, it's also been a slap in the face. I realized while I was traveling that we've fallen behind as a country in a couple of ways, right? And especially since COVID, I just can't stop viewing America as this sort of complacent, deteriorating state. And, that sounds bad, but I don't know. I just feel like shit is going to keep getting worse and worse here before it gets any better. So today I want to talk about the things that made me realize that America is kind of mid. So right away, hopping off the plane when I would travel, the first thing that I noticed was how much happier and more relaxed people are. Obviously these countries, I went to Italy, Ireland, Japan. They have mental health issues, probably worse than we do in some cases. But you look around and people are outside in public, fully engaged in conversations with one another, smiling and shit, right? And it sounds pretty basic, but the way that shit's been going around here, people aren't exactly pleasant in America anymore, right? So there's this concept and it's called the third space. And it's that as a human, you have your first space, which is your home. You have your second space, which is your work. And your third space is supposed to be where you are living life, right? It's where you're vibing out with the bros. It can be a bench, an outdoor cafe. It's just a place where you are completely present and you're talking and enjoying life for what it is, right? And Italy and Japan, both countries were jam-packed with third spaces everywhere. People are out and about. But they're not doing anything, right? They're just enjoying life. They're talking to each other. And, you talk to older people, like I talk to my parents. This used to be a way bigger thing in America. We used to have a bunch of third spaces, but we've somehow lost it. And we obviously still have coffee shops, we still have parks, we still have, benches, but they're different, right? There's a couple things that makes them not hit the same. And the first is cultural, right? Because if I go to a coffee shop in New York, for example, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna, sit outside, people watch with the coffee, and, maybe vibe with some random people who are also chilling. I get there, I get my coffee and I look around, and it's people who look like they're geeking off 50 milligrams of Adderall with their big ass noise canceling headphones on, right? Just like it looks like they're writing manifestos on their laptop. It's like I don't really want to interact with you. You know what I mean? So it's almost like we've forgotten how to just take a deep breath and chill in America, right? We always got to be working or tweaking out on something. That's what it feels like, at least, right? Obviously there's going to be exceptions, but the second difference, the second reason that these third spaces don't exist here is because to do anything in America, you have to pay for it, right? You can't even scratch your ass without paying for it here. We have this neighborhood in New York. It's called Dime Square with a D, and it's basically a replica of what you would see in Europe, right? Because all the bars, restaurants, they all move their seating outdoors. They close the street off. And, from the outside, it looks like it's people just chilling, talking, like the third space I was kind of just talking about, right? But the problem is that in order to get to any of these seats, first you have to have a reservation. You can't just walk in, because you'll get crazy attitude from the hostess. She'll be like, yeah, maybe tonight, but most likely you'll have to wait 3 hours. You know what I mean? And if you do get in, let's say you do somehow get in.
Finally, after 36 minutes.
Just let me know when you're ready to order. The beers are like $20. The edamame is fucking $30.
Shit.
It all goes back to this constant juicing of every dollar. That vibe is not overseas. And that was the first thing I noticed, really, because people are so much more relaxed. They're so much more present. They're not just like scrambling. We're like mice
Still
on the
no godly.
hamsters on the
Yeah, that's the last one.
trying to get to
I'm
money
not
here,
bothered
so we can
anymore.
do anything, right? So that was the first thing I noticed. The next thing that really hit me was just the levels of respect that I was given overseas, right? I mentioned COVID in the intro.